Hello, and welcome back to our channel where your questions are a priority. Today's question is, what is peer pressure and who is at risk? Before we begin, please subscribe to get notified when we upload a new video. Also hit the like button for this video if it helps. Let's jump into today's question. The term peer pressure refers to the influence that our friends or people of similar age or status exert on us. We all want to be accepted by our peers, which is why most people try to fit in. But sometimes fitting in means doing things that go against your morals or beliefs. This can lead to some risky behaviors such as smoking, drinking, stealing, vandalizing, taking drugs, and having unsafe sex. And when someone pressures you into doing something you're not comfortable with, you may feel like you have no choice but to give in. Peer pressure can be very powerful and dangerous. It can lead young people to make bad decisions that they will regret later on in life. It can also put them at risk of physical and emotional harm. Peer pressure happens all the time in schools, workplaces, and even online. In fact, it's so common that most of us have experienced it at some point in our lives. But what exactly causes peer pressure? Why do people feel compelled to do things that they do and want to do just because their friends ask them to? There are many factors that contribute to peer pressure. One of the most important is the need for acceptance. We are social creatures who need to feel like we belong. When we are not accepted by our peers, we feel rejected and alone. This is especially true during adolescence when kids are developing their identities. That's why teens who are not accepted by their peers are more likely to engage in risky behavior. They are trying to find a way to fit in and be accepted. Some may turn to drugs or alcohol to help them forget their problems. Others may join a gang to feel like they belong to something bigger than themselves. Some teens may feel pressured to conform to certain standards of appearance. They may feel like they have to dress a certain way, look a certain way, or act a certain way in order to be accepted. This is especially true for girls who are often pressured to conform to unrealistic beauty standards. Some may resort to extreme measures such as anorexia or cutting in order to meet these standards. Another factor that contributes to peer pressure is the desire to be popular. We all want to be liked and respected by our peers. And sometimes we think that the only way to achieve popularity is to conform to certain standards. For example, some teens may feel pressured to start smoking or drinking just because it's what the popular kids do. They think that if they don't conform, they will never be popular. But the truth is that popularity is not everything. There are many different types of intelligence and beauty. And conforming to certain standards does not make you a better person. Another reason why teens may feel pressured to conform is because they are still developing their sense of identity. They are trying to figure out who they are and where they fit in the world. That's why it's so important for teens to have a strong support system. When teens have a positive self-image and a strong sense of identity, they are less likely to feel pressured to conform. They know who they are, and they don't need anyone else's approval. So who exactly is at risk of experiencing peer pressure? The truth is that everyone is at risk. However, some people are more vulnerable than others. For example, children who have low self-esteem or who are struggling with mental health issues are more likely to experience peer pressure. That's why it's so important to seek help if you are struggling. There's no shame in asking for help. It is a sign of strength, not weakness. You should also talk to your parents or guardians about peer pressure. They can help you develop a plan to deal with this issue. If you're a teenager, you can also talk to a trusted adult, such as a teacher, counselor, or a religious leader. These people can provide you with the support and guidance you need to resist peer pressure. But how can you resist peer pressure if you find yourself in a situation where others are pressuring you to do something you do and want to do? Here are some tips to help you say no to peer pressure. The first step is to be assertive. This means standing up for yourself and letting others know what you want. Assertiveness is an important skill that everyone needs to learn. It is not selfish to stand up for yourself. It is necessary to set boundaries and make sure that your voice is heard. When you are assertive, you let others know that you are not willing to be taken advantage of. You are not a doormat. You are a valuable person who deserves to be respected. Another tip is to stay true to yourself. This means staying true to your values and beliefs, even when others try to pressure you to do things you are not comfortable with. It's not easy to stay true to yourself, especially when you're being pressured by your friends. But it's important to remember that you are not defined by what other people think of you. You are defined by who you are and what you believe in. If you compromise your values and beliefs to please others, you will eventually lose yourself. Another tip is to walk away from the situation. If you're not comfortable with what's going on, remove yourself from the situation. This may mean leaving the room or going outside for a walk. When you take a break from a situation, you give yourself time to calm down and think clearly. You don't have to make any rash decisions. You can take some time to assess the situation and decide what is the best course of action. And finally, another tip is to seek support from others. If you're struggling to resist peer pressure, don't be afraid to reach out for help. Talk to a trusted adult about what you're going through. They can offer you guidance and support. Remember, you're not alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. In conclusion, peer pressure is a real problem that affects millions of people around the world. It can be difficult to resist, but it is possible. By following the tips above, you can set boundaries, stay true to yourself, walk away from uncomfortable situations, and seek support from others. Remember, you are not alone. There are people who care about you and want to help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We hope this video has answered your question. If you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments section below and we'll be sure to answer them. Thank you for watching and be sure to subscribe for more great content. See you next time.